Good morning, students. As a part of the series of the video lectures for the MCOM first semester Indian Financial System subject, today we will go for the chief objectives and the sub-objectives, or else the overall objectives behind the financial sector reforms in the Indian financial system. In the earlier classes, we have learned about what is Indian financial system, what is a financial system, what are the elements and components of Indian financial system, and an element-wise conceptual understanding of the Indian financial system, as well as the reform scenario with the need and importance and scope of the reforms in the Indian financial system. Today, we will go for the learning of the objectives of the financial reforms in the Indian financial system. Let us go one by one. The first one is to develop a market-oriented, competitive, world-integrated, diversified, autonomous and transparent financial system. If you observe, the expectations are very huge as far as the Indian financial system is concerned. And this objective categorically specifies that the Indian financial system is going to be primarily opened for at all levels of access. That was being envisaged through in this particular objective. Market oriented means openness. Both the seekers of the funds as well as the suppliers of the funds and the institutions will supposed to go for a market orientation, means to meet the expectations of the market from time to time as per the requirements of the market, maybe the products, maybe the services, maybe the operations. That was being denoted under the word market oriented. So in order to develop the Indian financial system as per the market requirements. The second one is competitive. To become competitive among and themselves, such that they should not be an odd man out and they should not be faded out of the competition. So the competitiveness through their quality as well as the quantity of their operations should be input during this reform. This is also one greater element while opening the Indian financial system. Next one is world integrated. To connect with the global economic and financial institutions at par with the global standards and requirements. Next, diversified. Traditionally, the financial sector is going to deal with a few areas of operations. Now, under the reforms, it is stated that a diversified needs and diversified products and diversified services. That is also one of the chief factors of these particular reforms. Autonomous, functioning on their own. There is no more government and regulated mechanism. Even though there are regulatory bodies in the financial system, they should design and define themselves from time to time to regulate the financial system. So all institutions, all the players in the financial system should have their own autonomous and strategic way of performing the things. Apart from that, transparent financial system. Everything is transparent. There is no question of hiding or doing in secrecy. Such type of objective has been placed as the chief objective or the prime objective or the main objective of the financial sector reforms in the Indian financial system. The second is to effectively allocate resources. Effectively allocation in the sense neither lesser nor more, to suit the needs of both the suppliers as well as the seekers of the funds in the financial system. And all sectors of the economy should have been in a position to get the resources as and when demanded with the help of this financial system. Next one is to bring out effectiveness, accountability, profitability, viability, vibrancy, balanced growth, operational economy, flexibility and professionalism in the Indian financial system. If you observe the words, whatever have been given in this chief objective, it categorically specifies us. It is correctly pointing out that what should be the way in which the financial institutions, financial instruments, financial services and the entire mechanism of the financial system should operate. Effectiveness in the sense more productivity to be generated through their operations. Accountability, taking them on the shoulders of the responsibility of managing the financial system. Profitability, because the financial system deals with funds, resources, henceforth the gain on the operations that come under the profitability. Viability means to the extent of the continuation and survival of those institutions in the market. Vibrancy, to deal with the dynamism, to deal with the turbulency in the economic system, in the financial system, at the global basis. There is a need on the part of the financial system to be always vibrant enough, dynamic enough, turbulent enough, and to absorb the shocks within no time, such that there should be no collapsation. Next one, balanced growth, gradually dealing to the supplementation of the derived level of the growth on the part of the institutions. Operational economy, the economy of the organization should be in a position to provide feasibility of running that particular institution without any setback. Flexibility, as and when there is a need for change, the change should not be at the cost of the survival, growth and existence of the organization. So the flexibility should also be there. If there is a need to imbibe a change, that should be imbibed very smoothly, such that the main structure is not being hampered. Apart from that, professionalism, in order to make the things in a more professionalized manner, professionality in the operations of the financial system. The next one is to increase the return on investment. See, as I said, the financial system deals with money and related to money related resources. So, henceforth, every organization which deals with the funds, which deals with the financial resources or other resources equivalent to finance in nature, that should enhance and to be in a position to derive the expected return on that. Otherwise, that will go into a dilemma, that will go into a doldrum. Henceforth, to increase the return of investment is also a main objective or one of the chief objectives of the reforms in the Indian financial system. The next one is to promote competition among the market players. Here, when once the markets are being opened, automatically what happens? The players have to play according to the level playing field of the market, and the market structures should be so designed in such a manner that there should be a competition and they should sustain the competition, survive in the competition and enhance their potentiality and performance levels from time to time to stay in the competition. Next one is to ensure rationalization in operational procedures. See, rationalization means making the things in a discretionary manner as well as in a pumping in manner and supporting manner. So their operational procedures should be so designed in such a way that it should be always on the part of them a beneficiary having a right decision at the right time at the right level of doing the things. To build a financial structure, infrastructure related to supervision, audit, technology and legal matters. These are also very important on the part of the Indian financial system. Anyhow, the financial system should not be in a way to get setbacks from the structure in which it is situated. The structural setbacks should be minimized. By what? The infrastructure should be designed in such a way to promote the supervision, to inculcate audit on a better manner such that the accountability and responsibility is not being faded out. The technology, use of the techno-enabled financial system and legal matters, the things which are going to be not unethical or immoral, they should be always legal. In such a way, the structure's objective is designed. Next one, last one is to modernize instruments of monetary control and monetary policies. Generally, any financial system deals with two types of policies shaped by the administration of the country or the governance of the country. That is monetary policy and the fiscal policy. Apart from that, several other policies to run the state or the country from time to time. So the monetary policy and the fiscal policy should also be designed in such a way as per the requirements of the financial system, or else the financial system should be so redesigned and redesigned from time to time such that there is a control on the part of the monetary policy and other policies of the organization from time to time. So by understanding all these chief objectives or the prime objectives or the main objectives of the financial reforms in the Indian financial system, we will come to a conclusion that the reforms are there to create effectiveness in the financial system. The reforms are there to modernize the financial system and the operations of the financial system. The reforms are there to create the responsibility and accountability. The reforms are there to provide the security to the financial system also. By all means, in a 360 degrees, not only local but also at the global level, the financial system should be in a position to meet the expectations of the local, national as well as the international levels of the requirements from time to time. This is what today we have studied about the objectives of financial reforms and the need for financial reforms in the Indian financial system. Thank you very much.